In the heart of Africa, where traditions are deeply rooted and culture flourishes, one woman has created a sanctuary of wellness and beauty. Meet Hadeeza, the visionary founder of Dismundu, a transformative traditional African wellness space for both women and men. Driven by her profound love and appreciation for her heritage, Hadeeza embarked on a journey to celebrate and preserve the unique beauty cultural trends of Africa's diverse tribes. Her passion for making a difference and leaving a lasting legacy led to the birth of Dismundu. At Dismundu, ancient traditions meet modern practices. Hadeeza is a psychotherapist and multifaceted businesswoman, bringing her extensive knowledge of naturopathy, perfumery, herbalism, and interior design to create an unparalleled wellness experience. From investment banking to holistic healing, Hadeeza's journey is one of transformation and empowerment. After over a decade in the financial industry, she pivoted to follow her true calling, bringing the rich therapeutic traditions of Africa to the forefront. Join us as we explore the inspiring story of Hadeeza and Dismundu. Discover how one woman's passion for her culture and roots is creating a ripple effect of wellness, beauty, and empowerment across the continent.
Hello, my name is Hadeeza. I'm the founder of Dismundu Traditional African Wellness Space. The journey. So Dismundu started as a result of I'm someone that's rooted in tradition and culture. And I am grateful for the exposure and education that I have, but deep down, I'm still very much African. And Dismundu came about because growing up in the north, I was, from the age of 9, 10, I was introduced to a lifestyle that basically teaches women, girls, how to take care of themselves, how to sit, how to talk, how to use organic products to take care of your skin and all that. And it's always been something that was very interesting to me. Now, I've come to realize that the whole point of the NYSC Youth Corps is to let kids go to other parts of the country and understand their lifestyle, their culture and all. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. So if you've never been to the north before, you don't understand their way of life, you don't understand everything about them. So, and I just thought to myself that, okay, I think it's time to reintroduce things that are at our core as Africans, as Nigerians, to reintroduce that to the modern woman, so to speak. Dismundu is a transformative space. It's a traditional African wellness space, like I mentioned. I started my career in the financial industry, but the business started in 2019, and it's a business for women. The emphasis is on women. We do have products for men, but the services are centered around women. Challenges we've encountered since the business started is basically, as Africans, we seem to be in this I mean, we're gradually coming out of it, but there's this mental slavery that we sort of have to think that whatever we do that is not Western is not good enough. And but then we're gradually coming out of it. A perfect example is, the burning of incense, right? So incense is, you find incense in the Bible, you find it in the Quran, right? And it's something that we've been doing for thousands of years before we were even, colonized or anything. And what is incense? Incense is basically making your environment smell lovely, smell good, smell attractive. But for some reason, a lot of people think that burning incense is diabolical. There's something juju-ish or something about it, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But, to each their own, really. So these are some of the challenges that we've had to, and this is mainly because if you don't know where you're coming from, honestly, you can't know where you're going. So this is basically, again, reintroducing who we are as a culture, going back to our roots, in terms of how we take care of our skin, right? Using organic products, using things like potatoes, using things like cucumber to exfoliate the skin, to look good, using, our traditional sauna way back then, before, the Unyibo lifestyle came about, so to speak. So we're going back to our roots, and that's basically what that is. And in terms of the winnings, I've come to realize that some people were not opportuned to have a female in their life growing up, right? And even men too. And they probably don't know what personal hygiene means. So I've had instances whereby a client came to me and it was sort of like she had an issue, and we were able to help with that issue. I'm not going to bore you with the details and everything. So yeah, there has been winnings. People have come with skin issues that, we've been able to educate them, teach them what they need to do, or they come for their, body exfoliation every fortnight, and they've seen significant differences in their skin and all. Or maybe even how to sort of come into your feminine energy as a woman, right? Maybe you're in a job whereby your 9 to 5 is you're around men all the time, or you're someone that is in charge, and that makes you, that masculine thing is always on. But then when you need to take that off and put on your feminine part, we've been able to help women do that. So be it physical, mental, sexual, that's what we're all about, really. So, yes.
Hi, Hadeeza. Welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell me about your product.
I guess I should start with an introduction of who we are. So we're called Dismondu, which is basically a traditional African wellness space. And I'm a psychotherapist. And but I thought, rather than just focus on mental health, right, it's better to dive deep into who we are as a country, as a culture, and I'm someone that has always been very deeply rooted in my traditions and culture. And I just thought, why not reintroduce our way of life, the beauty treatments that I grew up on, why not reintroduce that to the modern woman, right? Because A lot of the people, the women that taught me all I know about the traditional aspect, some of them are gone. And it's like they die with all that knowledge without, being able to pass it down. And hence why I decided to start, this journey, and to let people know that, we as Africans, we are quite diverse, and so many things that we have that a lot of people are not even aware of. Right? Yes.
Well, that's certainly commendable. So, from the business point of view, how do you make money?
Okay, so there are three aspects to the business. The mental health, like I said, being a psychotherapist, so people book sessions.
I should be careful what I say around you.
Yes. And then you have the other aspect of the services, whereby you can come in for massages, body exfoliation, henna, stuff like that. Then you now have the product aspect of it. We make incense, we make perfume oils, we make some body butters, and stuff like that. So those are basically the three aspects in which we make money. Yeah.
Well, it all sounds fantastic, and I would definitely want to try out your services at some point. So just to recap, the therapy services, they're obviously there's a price point for it.
Yes.
Then, are you the only therapist you have, or do you have others that work with you?
No, just me.
Okay.
Just
So then you have the massage services and things like that.
Yes.
That also you have a team, or is it just?
Yes, I have a team.
Okay, and then you have the cost of the product itself.
Yeah, the product.
Okay, and how do you manage your cash flow?
Basically, money comes in, and at the end of the month you have salaries and stuff to be paid, right? And whatever is left is, what we put back into the business, so to speak.
Perfect. And do you pay yourself a salary?
Yes, I do.
And besides paying yourself and paying your team, and the product, do you actually have any net profits that you keep aside that you could basically say is the value of the growing business, or does everything get reinvested into product or?
There's usually a bit left, on the side, but we just sort of, okay, so this is the net. All right, what can we do with it? Probably just put it back into the business. Yeah. Okay,
and just because this is the nature of what we're discussing, it sounds to me that what you're referring to as a net profitability is more like an EBITDA, as opposed to so EBITDA is this term which is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. So while those don't really impact cash flow, it still is a huge cost to business, especially if you are tax compliant and or there's an audit later that you have to make up. Are any of those provisions factored into the cash flow that we just spoke about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
The business started in 2019.
Okay. Yeah. And you've been cash flow positive since year one?
I'd say year two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's really quite commendable, because this is not usually the quality of conversation that I have.
Okay, so it's probably because I have a background in finances.
Okay.
So I was, in the financial industry for over a decade, right? So I think that has really helped me to sort of know what to do and what not to do.
So that's wonderful. Then what I need from you really is to kind of elaborate some of the best practices that you bring forward in your business, because that's essentially the purpose of what we are trying to do here. Next time you should be sitting here, because you've taken away any value that I can bring into this conversation.
All right. So let's start by why do people have cash flow problems? Number one, if you aren't your profit margin is thin or small, then you'd have a cash flow problem. If, for instance, you sell on credit, then you'd have a cash flow problem. And if, for instance, your expenses are higher than what comes in, then you'd have a cash flow problem. So I think I would say that as a business, I'm a micro business. I don't even refer to myself as a small business, right? You need to, the first thing is to really sit down with the costing of your products or services, right? To make sure that you are making some sort of profit, right? And that it's tangible enough to try as much as possible. We don't do things on credit. We do not. Absolutely, it's a no-no. If you want to buy something and you can't afford it right now, when you have the money for it, then you come back. That's it. And we also limit our expenses. So for instance, you're making 5 million, right? And your expenses altogether is about 4.5, then there's a problem, right? But if your expenses is between maybe 2 million, 2.5, then you're pretty good. So these are the things that I've been able to do in my business to enable me to not have a cash flow problem.
Well, it's all very good advice. Thanks for that. Do you have any aspirations for expansion of product lines or world dominance? Yes. So what is the plan for keeping some cash reserves for that?
Okay, so right now, for instance, we just sort of moved to a bigger place, right? And what I've been able to do is, it's my home actually. So I live upstairs and the business is downstairs, right? As I just thought about it, that there's really no need for get like a really fancy building and, you know, all the razzmatazz and everything. I've come to notice that there's a lot of facade in this part of in this part of the country, and as long as you are yourself, right? I'm not in as much as I think my emphasis is on the products, making sure that I deliver on what I say my products are supposed to do. And as long as I'm able to do that, if you try my products, you'll definitely come back, right? So my emphasis is not on the looks or, you know, the outdoor. It's more about what I offer. And as long as I'm getting that right, then I think I'm in the right direction, so to speak.
You know what they say: don't hate the player, hate the game. So the room that or the space that you occupy, if it has preconceived ideas about how packaging needs to be done, then the organic customers that you develop in the early stages would probably not be sustainable from a mass point of view. Mm-hmm. So at some point you would have to consider, you know, a higher marketing budget, mm-hmm. Or, you know, alternative packaging options to try and attract that.
Yes.
While you are cash flow positive, which is really a rarity for me when I'm here. You know that you need to start building up a war chest, so to speak, to do that.
Definitely.
And then how do you duplicate yourself? Because ultimately you're the apex of your product line, right?
Okay, so basically what we do right now is we work strictly on appointment. So if you're coming down, you need to book an appointment. It's not just the walk-in. So it's more like a boutique space, so to speak. So the fact that we're able to walk with time, that has really been a fantastic advantage for us. And where we are right now, we're really just trying to get more visibility for the business, because if you don't know I exist, there's no way you can come to say to patronize me, right? So it's we're just really right now trying to get as much visibility as possible. Yes. So the more visibility we get, the more we grow. The more we grow, the more we can expand.
So what's the channel for visibility? I'm curious about it from a cost perspective, right? So
Okay.
let's say you were to say, I'm going to do, for instance, I'm not saying that that's your model, but let's say I'm going to do social media advertising. No, social media advertising is a dollar-based expense. In this economy with the variables that we have, that could mean cash flow positivity 1 month and it could mean negative next month.
True.
Depending upon what your advertising budget is. So what are the methods that you're deploying?
So for instance, one of the methods we're using right now is we partake in a farmer's market right now, and that happens every week, right, on Saturdays. And we're there from morning till evening. And so far, we've started this about 6 weeks ago. Now, prior to that, we were also a part of another market, which is usually once a month. It's like a night market. And because of the area that it is, it's been really good, really, really good. So that's just a basic example of how we're trying